All right, everybody. So it's been about 2 weeks since I made my last Bitcoin video. I'm just going to give you guys a little update on where I stand with Bitcoin in its current cycle right now and what I'm thinking of it. But just a few days ago, I went back on my Coinbase accounts, and they can't tell you your average price per coin and where your average is sitting right now at the moment. But I went back and saw all the previous times that I deposited money into my Coinbase account, and I charted it here on the Bitcoin chart. This is the daily time frame, so every single candlestick you see represents one day. My very first Bitcoin purchase was way back in 2017, October of 2017. I believe it was the 4th. Yes, the 4th of October 2017. I had some gambling winnings that I was doing some sports bettings on football or whatever, and I won like $500. So I put it into Bitcoin here. And I remember like a week and a half later, like that 500 turned into 600. I was like, holy crap, what is this Bitcoin thing? I need to get on this Bitcoin boat. And I bought it like a few more times. Like literally I was like jumping in here at the tail end of the last bull market cycle and went from 4K all the way up to 20K. And luckily I wasn't doing too much buying here. I rode all the way down, did a few buys down in here at around the 10,000, 8,000. I was basically buying dollar cost averaging throughout the entire bear markets. I made a lot of good buys down here in the depths of the crypto abyss, down the bear markets. Lots of buys into $4,000 down here. And luckily, when it was going up, I wasn't doing too much buying. I was kind of just letting it ride, just like I did way back in the previous bull market cycle. But as you guys can see, when the coronavirus hit and Fed was printing nonstop money, I was buying lots and lots of Bitcoin here because I just knew that the fixed supply of Bitcoin, it being a scarcest asset essentially in the world, in the galaxy, in the universe, whatever you want to say, it's the scarcest asset that's ever existed. We know exactly there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever mined. The supply just got cut in half. The miners just reward got cut down to 6.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes that's coming into the markets. I'll touch on that here in a little bit in this video. But I was buying a lot of Bitcoin here. Basically, my average right now is around $8,200 from what I calculated. So I've made a lot of good Bitcoin buys, and I'm not planning on selling this thing for 2 years. Why am I not planning on selling this for 2 years? I'll tell you this right now. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and look on the macro time frame. I'm about to turn on the logarithmic scale because there's a lot of price action here. Bitcoin's gone from pennies up to 20K. So we're going to have to bring on the logarithmic scale. And these purple lines that I have, these are the previous Bitcoin halvings. So this is when the supply got cut down. Usually it's every 4 years Bitcoin supply gets cut down. So the very first Bitcoin halving here, Bitcoin block reward miners for solving the complex problems. They were getting 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, basically, that were coming in the markets. So miners are getting paid 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. That got cut down to 12.5 here back in November of 2012. And let's go ahead and look at what happened. Now, it doesn't look like a lot here because it's a logarithmic scale, but if you would have just bought the last Bitcoin halving, it broke out here and went up 9,500%. We'll call it 100x. It went up basically 1,000%. 100x in just about the course of 1 year. All right. And then the second halving ever, Bitcoin supply got cut down again. This time it went from 25 or went down to 12 and a half. So yeah, 12 and a half, 25 down to 12 and a half now. And as you guys can see here, it broke out. It went up about 30x. So let's call it 3,000% in about 530 days. All right, we just had our last supply cut here back in end of May. And now the miners are getting reward cut down to 6.25 every 10 minutes, right? So let's look at the same patterns here that Bitcoin has playing out too. It's the same exact patterns on these cycles. It's crazy. It's the data science, the data analysis here of Bitcoin is the most incredible thing in like all of chart analysis, all of technical analysis. It's crazy how this works. Okay, so we have this swing high, all-time high at the time was in June of 2011. We have a swing high here, August 2012, and we find resistance along this trend line that it sets because you have 2 points of contact, and then now you have a set trend line. And basically right around the halving is when it breaks this trend line, supply gets cut down, and then price rallies into a new bull market cycle, and we go up 100x. We go up 1,000%, right? Or 10,000%, 10,000%. 100x. Boom, boom, Boom. 10,000%. Right? Same exact thing here. We get this swing high, all-time high set. Then we get another swing high. Now you can draw the trend line because you have 2 points of highs. And then we find resistance along the trend line. And then right around the halving, you break the trend line. And then what happens after that? Bitcoin rallies to a new all-time high, right? So we have a new all-time high. Same thing again. New all-time high. Swing high. Resistance all along the trend line right here. Resistance all along the trend line right around the halving. Breaks the trend line. It looks much better on the non-logarithmic, so I'll take it off log here real quick. We break the trend line, and now we're starting that move to the new all-time high. It's literally, if this cycle plays out like the last guys, it's going to be going up to roughly 100K. Why do I say 100K? Well, I'll explain that here real quick. Let me get these green circles off the screen. All right. So this first move up from the first halving up to all-time highs was 100x, right? About 10,000%. This one here was 3,000%, about 30x. What about the halving? And it shoots up. It goes up about 30x. This one here, all-time high, conservative would be about 10 to 15x, right? Because the first one was 100x. The last one was 30x. So let's go ahead and cut this one down again, down to 10x to 15x. All right. So from the halving, we're about 10K. 10x would be 100K. 15x would be 150K. It's simple. And that's being conservative. It's also expanding, lengthening cycles. So this first one here lasted about 1 year. This one lasted 500 days from halving to all-time high. I'm thinking this one's going to take about 650 to 700 days. So if we ever bring this out, actually my chart doesn't go out that far, but it's going to be roughly June of 2022. We're going to end somewhere in the summer to spring of 2022. Okay. So I'm not planning on selling Bitcoin for another 2 years, maybe just under 2 years. We'll play it by ear. I'll start scaling out around 80K as my plan. I'm going to sell $1,000 at a time from 80K, 85K, 90K. I'm not going to try to time the top. Where would you buy Bitcoin in bull market cycles? Where would you be buying Bitcoin? I'll tell you. I'll show you. All right. We're going to have to bust the weekly chart here. And I'm going to turn off the logarithmic. It's going to be really weird. Let me scale all the way in. Oh my gosh, we got to go all the way down to pennies. All the way down to pennies here, boys. Where would you buy Bitcoin? So the bottom of bear market cycles, Bitcoin tests always the 200 weekly. But in bull market runs, you want to buy the 21 weekly, all right? Anytime Bitcoin has a 21 weekly here, this is the very top line. This is the 21 weekly. It's the lightest color purple line that I have on my screen. Bitcoin always, always, always tests the 21 weekly and rallies up. Rallies up. And when Bitcoin is around the 21 weekly, always, always, always a good time to buy. So when it falls below it, I would be very cautious if it falls below it. But if you see it like this, wick and test and jump, good time to buy. Because here, as you guys can see, falls below it. This is the bear market here when it falls below. Tries to fight up again, falls below it, bear market. But look at the 200 weekly here. 200 weekly, way back in 2015. Tested it, tested it, tested it. All these candles closing above the 200 weekly. That was the bottom of the bear markets. But look what happens in the bull market here. Once again, 21 is that light colored line here. Tests it, holds it, launches off it, tests it, holds it, launches off it, right? So anytime it comes down, 21 weekly, look at this. 21 weekly, boom, boom, continues to go up. Boom, continues to go up, right? You can do this the whole time. Boom, continues to go up, right? That's close. And then it falls below, and it's the bear markets. So right now, we've got the 21 weekly coming up. We're looking pretty bullish here. We got all of our indicators how I want it. We just got that 21 crossing the 50. We're going to see this 21 start to sneak up here. If it pulls back to this 21 weekly, boom, launches. That is the gateway for sure to the next Bitcoin bull market cycle. So this is the indicator I'm watching. This is the one I'm going to be buying off of. The 21 weekly in a bull market cycle is where I'm going to keep adding to my Bitcoin. So just want to update you guys on my current standings of Bitcoin. Don't plan on selling any. If anything, I plan on accumulating more. We're trading currently here on Bitcoin right now. Let's go ahead and bring it up. Woo! We're moving up a little bit here. I like it. I like it. I like it. Bitcoin's currently trading at 11,881 in a big giant consolidation pattern right now on the 4-hour. We can see it. Basically putting it in right now in an ascending triangle. So Bitcoin breaks this 12,100 area. We're going to see it move up to 14K real fast. All right. Good little update for you guys. I'll probably post another video if we get some more action on Bitcoin if it breaks this 12,100. Talk to you guys when we're at 14K. All right. Peace, peace.